Cops are hoping to crack a 30-year-old mystery.
Yeah, in 1994, a man calling himself Nicola La Falce flew from Perth to Adelaide. Cops think that bloke was an imposter who flew under Nick's name so that everyone thought the missing brickie had started a new life in South Australia. Detectives reckon that by the time that Ansett Airlines flight lifted off at 7:15 in the morning on January 12, 1994, Nick was already dead. Cops haven't made any arrests or laid any charges, but they reckon there are clues to what happened to him in the backyard of this house. That ramshackle home in Mount Lawley is owned by Giuseppe Minniti.
Any relationship to
Pasquale Minniti, yes. That's a name that will send shivers down the spines of a great many police officers and also a few Labor politicians. Paz, as he's known, is a panel beater, but all he ever wanted to be was a cop.
Do you need straight A's to be a cop?
He applied to become a police officer more times than anyone can remember, but got knocked back on every single occasion, because even the dumbest recruiting officer realised Paz was dodgy as
Oh no, you're a villain!
Dodgy but persistent.
Turns out that a lot of Western Australia police officers had inappropriate associations with Pasquale Minniti. We know this because in 2007 the Corruption and Crime Commission released an 84-page document called A Report on an Investigation into Inappropriate Associations between Western Australia Police Officers and Pasquale Minniti. The CCC found that apart from taking Paz on joyrides in patrol cars and giving him police hats and badges to play with, they also gave him confidential information from police computers and withdrew traffic infringements issued to his friends, one of whom was the police minister. John D'Orazio lost his job because of his dodgy dealings with Minniti, and Minniti did 18 months jail.
Well, Paz will want to be a cop even more now if he sees the new uniforms.
Yeah, Rozzers want to be less blue heelers. And more American police. Specifically, they want to be able to wear turtlenecks, which we used to call skivvies, and beanies, just like New York's finest, who wear turtlenecks and beanies because they conduct foot patrols in a city where it gets to -10 in winter. WA cops say their jackets don't keep them warm and their shirts fade quickly and look unprofessional.
Your shirt looks like vomit.
Well, the uniform does keep evolving.
Look how far we've come.
Picture perfect. So chic. In vogue.
The union push for new uniforms comes as new stats suggest our cops would be better off wearing something like this. Police officers were confronted by maniacs with firearms 67 times last year, well up on the 50 incidents reported 5 years ago.
I'm gonna die. Won't die comfortable.
That's bad news for cops, but good news for Police Minister Paul Papalia, who gets to hold even more press conferences while posing with a gun. And by golly, does he like to do that.
Police in Belgium have been tooling up.
Dutch cops as well. Ain't no riot like a soccer riot. Morocco's 2-0 upset over Belgium in the World Cup sparked violent riots in Brussels and Antwerp. The hooligans in Belgium were supported by the neighbouring Dutch.
There are only two things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Riots spread to Rotterdam and Amsterdam. Australia shocked everyone, got through to the next round. They play this Wednesday night at 11 p.m, and if they don't score, local riot police will be on alert.
Could be a riot if Phillip Lowe keeps non-apologising.
The RBA boss has been grilled for 2 hours by politicians in Canberra over interest rate gate. In February 2021, when the cash rate was 0.1%, the RBA said interest rates were going nowhere.
Our judgment is that this condition for a lift in the cash rate will not be met for 2024.
It held that line until late last year, despite the whole world realising the inflation genie was about to burst out of the bottle.
You ain't never had a friend like me.
History shows that interest rate prediction was very, very wrong, but at the time, Phil was adamant he knew best.
I find it difficult to understand why rate rises are being priced in next year or in early 2023.
Half a dozen interest rate rises since, and another locked and loaded, had him on the back foot. By which I mean the front foot, because he was blaming us for not listening properly.
I don't like doing this, but can I correct you? Because I did not promise that interest rates wouldn't go up to... In your statement. But I know many people interpret my previous statements as saying that, but if you look back carefully, I never said that.
That was him 2 months ago. Finally, on Monday, a full year after making the original dud call, Phil finally said the S word.
Shit.
Different S word.
I'm certainly sorry if people listened to what we'd said and then acted on that, what we'd said, and now regret what they had done. So that's regrettable, and I'm sorry that that happened.
But the apology had the caveat that we should have listened to the caveat.
What was the caveat?
This.
The board has said that it will not increase the cash rate until actual inflation is sustainably within the 2 to 3% target range.
That's why it's a backhanded apology. He's essentially saying sorry that you're unobservant idiots who didn't do your homework before taking on a mountain of debt in the mistaken belief it was free money.
I'm sorry.
I'm Ben Harvey.
If anyone knows how to murder someone and get away with it, it would have been him.
He was an animal.
You believe Gary White is an innocent man?
100%.